Hello everyone! Tonight we're diving into a bowl of moral and hygienic catastrophe. We're talking about shrimp, America's favorite seafood. You love it, I tolerate it, but we ignore how it gets to our plates. Shrimp farming has exploded since the 70s and it's not cleaner. Pollution, mislabeling, and antibiotics are rampant. We're exposing the truth about what you're really eating. Buckle up, folks. Things are about to get fishy. Let's address the elephant, or rather, the absent shrimp labeling information in the room. Ever wondered, where did these cheap shrimp come from? The US imports 90% of its shrimp, mostly from countries with flexible regulations. A 2014 study found nearly 2/3 of shrimp were mislabeled, hiding their true origins. Now let's talk about these shrimp farms, shall we? Imagine, if you will, a combination frat house and sewage treatment plant, but instead of beer pong and questionable hygiene, it's wall-to-wall shrimp swimming in their own filth. These farms are often overcrowded like a Tokyo subway car at rush hour, but with more feces. The water is a delightful cocktail of antibiotics, pesticides, and shrimp excrement, which, fun fact, isn't exactly FDA approved for human consumption. The overuse of antibiotics in shrimp farming is not only a recipe for antibiotic-resistant superbugs, but it also means you're essentially seasoning your shrimp scampi with a side of unnecessary medication. Remember that study we mentioned earlier? The one that found rampant mislabeling of shrimp? Well, it gets worse. Not only are consumers being misled about the origins of their shrimp, but also about the type of shrimp they're buying. Cheaper, less desirable species are often passed off as more expensive varieties. That succulent-looking wild-caught tiger prawn? It might actually be a farmed white-leg shrimp in disguise. The shrimp industry is basically playing a shell game with consumers, and we're the ones getting played. Jumbo shrimp? More like regular shrimp that's been plumped up with water weight to make it look bigger. Your shrimp might be swimming in a cocktail of its own waste and enough antibiotics to make a pharmacist nervous. Imported shrimp contains banned pesticides, illegal antibiotics, and traces of unapproved veterinary drugs. It's like the shrimp industry took a page out of Willy Wonka's playbook. Most consumers have no idea what they're ingesting. The FDA can't inspect every shipment of imported shrimp. Shrimp farming is wreaking havoc on the environment too. To create these shrimp farms, vast swaths of coastal lowlands and mangroves are being destroyed, leaving behind barren ponds filled with shrimp and despair. These mangroves are vital ecosystems that act as natural buffers against storms and erosion, and provide habitat for countless marine species. The irony, of course, is that this short-sighted destruction ultimately threatens the long-term viability of the shrimp industry itself. This might shrink your enthusiasm. Remember that chemical cocktail we talked about earlier? Well, one of the ingredients is particularly concerning 4-hexylresorcinol. This tongue-twisting chemical is used as a preservative in shrimp to prevent black spots, which, let's be honest, doesn't sound particularly appetizing. But the problem is, 4-hexylresorcinol is also a known xenoestrogen, which means it can mimic the effects of estrogen in the body. Studies have linked xenoestrogens to a range of health problems, including reproductive issues, developmental problems in children, and even an increased risk of certain cancers. We've covered the environmental and health impacts of shrimp farming, but there's another ugly side to this industry that's often overlooked: human exploitation. A 2015 investigation by the Associated Press revealed shocking conditions in the Thai seafood industry, where workers, many of them migrants, were subjected to forced labor, human trafficking, and other abuses. These modern-day slaves were forced to work long hours in grueling conditions, peeling and deveining shrimp for little or no pay. It's a grim reminder that our insatiable appetite for cheap shrimp comes at a steep human cost. The shrimp industry, a veritable buffet of environmental destruction, health hazards, and human rights abuses. But don't despair. There are things you can do to be a more responsible consumer. Look for shrimp that's certified sustainable by organizations like the Marine Stewardship Council. Ask your local fishmonger about the origins of their shrimp. And most importantly, spread the word. Share this video with your friends, family, and that one neighbor who always has shrimp on the grill.